Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd just first like to outline Council's governance rules. My name is Jackie Weatherall and I'm the Chief Executive Officer for the City of Greater Dandenong. It's about council meetings, making them a safe place for everyone. During the council meeting, members of the public cannot address the meeting outside of public question time, must not interject or act offensively, must remain seated, must switch their mobile phones to mute, must not operate any recording device, audio or visual, without obtaining the consent from the Chief Executive Officer at least 3 days prior to the council meeting, and can display placards or posters provided they're not offensive, do not obstruct entrances and exits to the chamber or impede any view or person. The Chair can direct any member of the public to stop interjecting or acting offensively. If that behaviour continues, the Chair can ask an authorised officer or a member of Victoria Police to remove members of the public from the chamber. Thank you, and the meeting will start shortly.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our ordinary council meeting, Monday, the 24th of November, 2025. Item 1, meeting opening. 1.1, opening of meeting. 1.2, attendance. Ms. Vettel.
Thank you, Mayor. We have an apology this evening from Councillor Lana Formoso.
Thank you, Ms. Vettel. Item 1.3, acknowledgement of traditional custodians of land. Those who wish to stand for the acknowledgement to country are welcome to do so. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Bunurong people, and pay respect to the elders, past and present. We recognise and respect their continuing connections to climate, culture, country and waters. And we also pay our respects and acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and the elders present here today in acknowledging their journey. Item 1.4, offering a prayer, reflection or affirmation. As part of Council's commitment to recognise the cultural and spiritual diversity of our community, the prayer, reflection or affirmation this evening will be offered by Mr. Shamim Navidi, a member of the Greater Dandenong Interfaith Network. Welcome, Mr. Shamim.
Lord, pitiful are we, grant us thy favour. Pour, bestow upon us a share from the ocean of thy wealth. Needy, do thou satisfy us, abased, give us thy glory. The fowls of the air and the beasts of the field receive their meat each day from thee, and all beings partake of thy care and loving kindness. Deprive not this feeble one of thy wondrous grace, and vouchsafe by thy might unto this helpless soul thy bounty. Give us our daily bread, and grant thy increase in the necessities of life, that we may be dependent on none other than thee. May commune in thy face and declare thy mysteries. Thou art the Almighty, the loving, and the provider of mankind. Abdul Baha.
Thank you. Please be seated. Item 1.5, confirmation of minutes of previous meetings. Meeting at Council Health on the 10th of November 2025 and annual meeting of Council Health on the 13th of November 2025.
Did it move?
Moved by Councillor Gutt, by Councillor Mamidi. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? As there is no opposition, the item is carried. Item 1.6, disclosures of interest. Ms. Vettel.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a disclosure of interest this evening from Councillor Lloyd Trung, and it concerns item on the agenda 4.2.1, Medium Grants Program 2025, Round 1, and he cites a direct material conflict of interest. He is on the SEMVAC board. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Item 2, Officers' Report, Part 1. 2.1, Petitions and Joint Letters. 2.1.1, Petitions and Joint Letters. Moved by Councillor Garrett, and is seconded by Councillor Mamidi. Any questions? Is there any opposition? As there is no opposition, the item is carried. Item 2.2, Strategy Planning Application 2.2.1, Planning Delegate Decisions issued October 2025. Is there a mover, Councillor? Moved by Councillor Mamedi, seconded by Councillor Garrard. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? As there is no opposition, the item is carried. Item 2.2.2, Town Planning Application number 9 to 11 and 13 to 15, Petronas Street, Dandenong, Planning Application number PLA 24/0093. Moved by
I'd like to move it, Madam Mayor.
Moved by Councillor Jim Mamedi, seconded by Councillor Philip Dunn. Any other questions? Councillor O'Reilly, question.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got a few questions to the relevant officer. The first question is, approximately how many audits of patronage numbers on granted permits across CGD have been conducted in the last 2 years?
Thank you. Mr. Manifagasa Subam, would you like to respond, please?
Through you, Madam Mayor. Our compliance team doesn't actively audit all the permits that have been issued. So over the past 2 years, there hasn't been a database which has been provided in relation to that.
Councillor O'Reilly, thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. Next question is, how many breaches of patronage numbers across CGD have been enforced by action from the council in the last 5 years?
Bill?
Through you, Madam Mayor. It's a case-by-case example. Generally, if there's a planning condition that's been contravened to do with patron numbers, it comes from a complaint, either from a person or from a location. So there's no database officially which lodges them all.
Thank you. Councillor O'Reilly?
Thank you, Mayor. Could the officer provide like a rough estimate on how many breaches like we've actually taken action on of patronage numbers?
Mr. Williams?
Through you, Madam Mayor. I might start off with that over the past 5 years, there's been approximately 90 permits that have been issued for places of assembly. Most operators, nearly all of them, actually do comply with their conditions to do with patron numbers. In regards to the number that have been prosecuted or had infringement notices, I wouldn't have that information on me at the moment, but there haven't been that many compared to the permits that have been issued. And as previously noted, if there is an issue with patron numbers, again, once that complaint comes in, our enforcement team can review that and work with the applicant on any non-conformities. We always try to work with the community on anything that might be an issue as the first instance, because we see that as a really suitable resolution to try to find middle ground, particularly in relation to permit conditions and planning permits.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Councillor O'Reilly?
Thank you, Mayor. And how many complaints has council received in the past regarding the site usage for the permit application?
Mr. Williams?
Through you, Madam Mayor. We've only received 3 complaints, but they range in different matters, so not just on patron numbers. Patron numbers was pretty much only effectively 1. There were some other ones, and the applicant was quite quick to apply for necessary approvals or amendments in order to make sure that whatever they were operating, they were actually in conformity with their current planning permits.
Thank you. Any further questions, councillors? Yes, Councillor O'Reilly.
Thank you, Mayor. So could the officer summarise that hypothetically, if this permit is granted and the applicants don't comply with event management plan or with the parameters of the permit, what is the scope of action that council can take? So, like, is it fines? Is it revocation of the permit? What exactly can council do?
Mr. Williams?
Through you, Madam Mayor. The first action we'll always take, as previously noted, is to work with the applicant. There are other measures that we can take in accordance with issuing penalty infringement notices, but we try to steer away from that and rather work with our community, particularly with places of assembly and places of worship. We really celebrate their uses in our municipality. So in regards to taking further action, what we would do is we would review this case by case, or in particular that case, and then look at what we can do. In regards to event management plans, such as Condition 11 on this permit, we would work with the operator on what's the best plan to put together and how to help them manage traffic and other matters during any special events, such as the 3 that are listed here with 400 patrons per event. So that's how we would deal with each case-by-case scenario.
Thank you, Will Stewart. Any other further questions, councillors? No. Okay. Is there any opposition?
Councillor Milkovich in opposition.
Okay. So now we're going to go with the first mover, Councillor Mamedi. You have 5 minutes. Thanks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Colleagues, I would like to speak strongly in support of the Taha Humanity Association and the essential role their centre plays at 9 to 11 and 13 to 15 Petronas Street. And it's in our municipality. This centre is far more than just a venue. It represents resilience, community spirit and hope for many families. Involved in this organisation are people that have arrived in Australia with very little or nothing. Through their hard work and determination, they have put all their savings together and they've purchased this centre to create a safe and welcoming and culturally respectful place for their growing community. It stands today because of genuine sacrifice and determination. The Taha Humanity Association is well known for its significant service to residents of the city of Greater Dandenong, especially new arrivals from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran and India, and that's only mentioning a few. They assist families adjusting to the new country, support with youth development, empower women, and provide educational, cultural and religious guidance in a responsible and structural manner. Their values mirror their principles of our city: respect, inclusion, community harmony and social contribution. Throughout the year, the centre delivers a diverse range of programs, including youth mentoring and leadership sessions, family support and wellbeing programs, educational workshops and language support, community gatherings, cultural and religious activities that strengthen identity and unity. These are not small efforts. These are long-term responsibilities, meaningful contributions that strengthen social cohesion and provide essential support to vulnerable groups within our municipality. The centre teaches values that uplift our city: respect, integrity, generosity, services to others, and also the respecting newcomers that come to Australian society. It gives young people a safe place to grow and help newcomers settle to bring people together. I know most of the councillors have been worried about the car parking. Normal business, Monday to Friday or Monday to Sunday, only 130 people. On their big days, they're expected to have 400 people. This is Eid, which happens twice a year. The prayer starts at around 6 a.m. and is normally concluded by 9 a.m, 3 hours. Muharram, which runs for a couple of weeks, normally they gather after the sun has come down, like 8 p.m. will be next year or whatever time it is, but it's normally after that. Ramadan is also after the sun's gone down. So these events, the special events, are normally held when all the factories are closed. And I understand not all factories will be closed, because there is some factories that do operate afternoon and night shift. But this community has organised their own parking and traffic management responsibilities, which I've seen firsthand. It's one of the strongest qualities of this community in their commitment to being responsible neighbours. They take traffic, parking and neighbourhood impact seriously, and they have established one of the most organised community-led systems that I've seen before. And I know on their big days, they work very closely with VicPol I've seen VicPol, even at the big days at their events in the past. They notify VicPol. VicPol knows which are the dates, what are the times, so they're not trying to hide anything from the community. This community is genuine. This community has 15 to 20 trained traffic and security volunteers on the big occasions. And I know they have 4 or 5 on the smaller events.
30 seconds, Councillor Mamedi.
Councillors, can I have an extension of 2 minutes, please?
Okay, any mover? Moved by Councillor True. Seconded by Deputy Mayor. Then Councillor Mamedi.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And during Muharram, they arrange the use of a nearby vacant land and operate their own free shuttle bus service, significantly reducing traffic on Petronas Street. And they also have the Imam, Dr. Latifi, who always makes announcements when I've been there. Any cars that are parked illegally, I've seen them go up on the TV screens with their registration, and I've seen people go out and move these vehicles. I know when we have these kind of gatherings, there are always going to be somebody who doesn't do the right thing. And that's natural. That's why we have our bylaw officers. That's why we'll give them an infringement notice. And if they do anything worse, VicPol's around the corner. So this is why I am supporting the Taha Association tonight.
Thank you, Councillor Mamedi. Second, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Dan.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. The question before us in this item is a simple one. Is the planning application compliant or not compliant? It's a yes-no question, and it's a question of fact and not a question of opinion. Is the planning application compliant? And according to this report, the answer is yes. Regardless of whether you think it's a good application or a bad application, the application is compliant under the planning scheme. The issue, as I have anticipated, is the issue of enforcement and not compliance. And this is not at the heart of the issue before us tonight. Firstly, let's begin on the question of compliance. We're considering an application that has been through one of the most rigorous amendment processes that I've seen during my time here on the council. It's been refined repeatedly with conditions added and plans adjusted to ensure that it meets every nuanced requirement of the planning scheme. I believe that the concerns raised by objectors are valid and do deserve a clear response, particularly in relation to parking and capacity. This application complies with the planning scheme for normal operations. It provides the required number of spaces for up to 130 patrons. The only reduction relates to special events which occur outside normal business hours in the evenings and early in the morning. These times have been deliberately chosen to minimise conflicts with surrounding businesses. The applicant has committed to measures such as event management plans and traffic management, demonstrating an active involvement to ensuring that the applicant's patrons are compliant with all parking rules and laws. On to the question of enforcement now. If this application is to be granted, the challenge for the applicant and council is to ensure that there is compliance with parking regulations. Concerns about illegal parking or blocking driveways of other businesses are a genuine concern, but they are not reasons to reject a compliant planning application. I would encourage the organisation to continue to utilise and train the volunteer marshals during major events to direct cars and people safely. If someone chooses to ignore these rules, whether that's parking illegally or obstructing other businesses, they should be penalised if they're caught. Just like anyone else, parking rules apply to everyone. Council and the police have the tools to enforce them. And the permit conditions make it clear that the organisation carries the responsibility for managing its events properly. Wrongdoers need to be penalised, just as you would expect anywhere else across Greater Dandenong. To conclude, I remind my colleagues in this chamber that this item before us is an amendment to an existing application. These amendments seek to address the very issues that have been raised and will be raised. If this amendment is rejected, the existing permit will stay as is. That means operating hours will stay unchanged. The issues which remain with parking and traffic flow will permanently remain. At the very heart of this organisation, if we just step back from the technical details, is an organisation which works to provide the services that are essential to their community, including for new arrivals and those looking for a place of community in a new land. So for these reasons, I support the amended application and encourage all parties involved to ensure that the conditions of the permit are followed. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Dan. In opposition, Councillor Milkovich.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to thank, first of all, Councillor Mehmeti on his passion. Nothing speaks passion more than a speech read off the piece of paper. Unlike Councillor Mehmeti, I will not be reading my argument why this permit should not be approved off a piece of paper. I will base it on the situation and details that I found on the ground after I've been informed by the neighbouring business owners as to what heartache they have to go through just to conduct normal business on any normal day in this municipality. Now, unfortunately, what my fellow councillors, and I will, excuse me if I jump from subject to subject.
Why are you reading it?
I'm not reading.
You just said you're not reading. It says
I'm not reading. Point of order, I would like to continue my
Okay,
argument.
Councillor Milkovich.
I'm not reading, I'm looking at the papers to remind myself of the notes. So what is going on here, and excuse me if I jump from topic to topic, is the fact that while the permit might look good on a paper and the council officers have done their due diligence, none of us, except for Mr. Manivasa-Gasavan and Mr. Stewart, have actually gone on site to inspect, and I thank you for your attendance on Friday. I was there on a Thursday afternoon, and I think what we witnessed on Friday was clear and consistent breaches of not the new permit of 130 and 400 on a special day, but are clear and consistent breaches of the current permit that states that 75 people can visit the site at any one time. Now, I have loosely counted on the day 120 people without trying to count too hard. What this permit fails to address is the heartache that the businesses that are actually neighbouring Taha community go through every single day. Now, in documentation that's not hard to find, and in photographic evidence that has been downloaded from the Taha community website, this shows in excess of 200 people, as Councillor O'Reilly has counted as myself. This wasn't a special event, this is just a normal, ordinary day. So the question poses itself. If neighbouring businesses are suffering because of the number of visitors on site at the moment, what will be the impact of a higher number of visitation with the same number of parking spots in the same area? Now, Councillor Mehmeti was correct when he said that they're requiring 400 people on a special events. Now, Councillor Mehmeti has glanced off on the fact that Muharram and Ramadan are not few weeks only. I have downloaded the information of the duration for Muharram and Ramadan and Eid from the Islamic Council website, and it states quite clearly here, and excuse me if I read the correct information so as I'm not misinterpreted. Muharram starts on the 26th of June and goes to the 25th of July 2026, which is roughly 29 days. Ramadan goes from 16th of February till 18th of March 2026. And Eid, as downloaded from the website, lasts for 4 days between 26th of May and the 30th of May 2026. So the question poses itself. If you're a neighbouring business, which we witnessed on the day, like I said, with Mr. Manivasa-Gasavan and Mr. Stewart, and you need to conduct business, under the current permit conditions, which allow 75, which has been blatantly disregarded by the applicant, how will the business look for the new arrangement of 130? So we got 2 and a bit months of the year where the neighbouring businesses are not allowed to conduct business whatsoever. Further photographic evidence, which was sent to me by neighbouring business owners, if I just may refer to this, shows not only street parking occupied in its entirety by illegal parking.
Councillor
but also
Milkovich, you've got 30 seconds.
Can I ask for an extension, please?
Do you have a mover? Moved by Councillor Garrett.
Thank you.
Seconded by Councillor Trung.
Shows not only parking infringement notices flat out and parking on the curbs and nature strips, blocking not only pedestrian access but vehicular access at any point in time. It also shows that the premises, this particular one was a couple of doors down from them, are completely occupied. Now, the argument that presents itself is that, yes, it's normal, it's outside normal working hours. However, why do businesses that are paying taxes and paying rates in this municipality are restricted, if not by their permit of use, restricted by using their own premises from which they own, from operating any time of the day? Would it be appropriate if I parked in my neighbour's yard 5 or 6 cars just because they've gone on holidays? Of course not. Would it be okay if I have to ask my neighbour that every time I need to leave my driveway to move the cars because I can't access or egress my property? Of course not. But this is what's happening every single day. This was taken on Saturday. There you go. Photographic evidence. We got some more. Parkings. Now, what we witnessed, like I said, on Friday, for a brief 45 minutes that we were there, was that the borrow trucks were stopped from exiting the plant, a very important plant, a concrete plant, for about 10 minutes because of the parking mayhem. There was no traffic management control. There was no one there. There was just cars, people trying to park anywhere and everywhere at an expense of everyone else. So the lady that runs a sandwich shop is just about forced to close early on Friday because the prayer time starts and the parking's occupied and access to her property is completely blocked and she's got no choice. Is that fair? Is that righteous? I support community organisation having their place. But what I think needs to happen is that maybe this particular spot in the city of Greater Dandenong is not suitable for such a large organisation, and I would like to make a suggestion, if I may, so that it will be far more useful, is to maybe move the centre towards industrial area in Dandenong South or Keysborough, where there's ample parking and where the neighbouring businesses won't be impacted. Because over here, the businesses are definitely impacted. They can't conduct their business on a normal day during the day, let alone at night. Another story from a gentleman 3 doors down or 4 doors down from Tahoe Community Centre is that he doesn't dare to order any deliveries or pickups from his factory, steel manufacturing business, on a Friday because the street is gridlocked. How's that fair? How can it be normal that we approve a
30
planning
seconds,
permit,
Councillor Milkovich.
30 seconds? That
Just
we
wrap it
approve
up.
a planning permit for 130 people and 400 for 2 months a year when current 75 permit is not being adhered to, and that's causing parking mayhem, and no one's done nothing about it. Now, if that's fair and righteous, then yes, I applaud. I urge my fellow councillors to support the application. But if they think the restriction of business and people moving up and down the street is normal, then I urge them to not support this application. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speaker? Councillor Riley.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, said to a couple of other councillors a few days ago that I was 50-50 on this applications, and I'm pretty much still 50-50. But listening to the arguments, and I think there's been some really good, valid arguments made both ways, and it's quite difficult for me to decide. I think, like, if I was a small business in that precinct, then I would absolutely appreciate the points that Councillor Milkovich has made about the impact on those surrounding businesses and their operations. But I was just thinking that, like with any large event, you're always going to have an impact, right? So, and it's extremely difficult to avoid when you've got any site that goes from one number to a large increased number for, particular special events. So, I also take the point from Councillor Dunn that we are deciding on a permit and we're not deciding on compliance specifically. But I also take Councillor Milkovich's point that the permit may have an impact on breaches. So I think that, and then I think of, we have several temples on Springvale Road that have large events, and there is impacts on those as well. So I think I take Councillor Darn's point in that at least while there certainly are current breaches by individuals and not by the organisation itself, the organisation does not sanction those breaches. The new permit will give the council a greater opportunity to constructively engage with the Taha Association as far as issues that come up, and will continue to monitor, and I'm sure myself and Councillor Milkovich will be extremely interested to know the compliance and breach position going forward from this. But I think on the overall balance, the overall net benefit versus the impact, that I'm slightly leaning towards supporting the amended permit. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Riley. Any other further speakers? Councillor Garrett.
Thank you, Mayor. I rise to support this motion. It's a no-brainer. This is an industrial zone 1. It is an appropriate place for a place of assembly. End of story. This is a planning decision. Breaches are a regulatory issue. Nothing to do with what we're doing here today. This application meets the planning requirements. It should be passed. And we should be grateful that we have a community that has generated such a huge and cohesive community in the city of Greater Dandenong.
Can you address the chair? Sorry, not the audience.
Sorry?
Thanks. Could you please address the chair, not the audience?
Address the chair, sure. And so I strongly support. Strongly support this application. There are no reasons not to. We have a community here who are very willing to do everything they can to cause the least amount of inconvenience to surrounding businesses that they can. They will work with their fellow shopkeepers. They will work with the fellow businesses around them. They have the most comprehensive traffic management plan that I have seen, and as Councillor Dan said, there is absolutely no reason whatsoever not to support this motion. And I congratulate the community for the tremendous work they've done in gathering together, as was said, the money to expand this site and to build even greater community. So I fully support the motion.
Thank you. Any further speakers? We're going to go for a vote now. So for those who right of reply. Councillor Mamidi.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's great to hear the support around the room today. We are voting on an amendment. Councillor Milkovich raised a lot of concerns which our officers are dealing with. It's great to hear today that our parking officers have actually booked 90 vehicles in that street since January 1 till today. So our officers are doing their job, one. We've only had 3 complaints in the last 7 years, Madam Mayor. I'm not sure where Councillor Milkovich has been the last 7 years. He hasn't raised it not once. He's just decided to pop in today and say it's such a mess out there and we can't let this operation continue. It's completely wrong. We need to support,
point of order,
we need
Madam
to
Mayor. Point of order. I did not just
What's your
pop in.
point of order?
I did not just pop in. I have actually gone and spoken to surrounding business owners, which I would strongly suggest Councillor Mamedi does as well, to get a real picture of what's going on there.
That's not a point of order. I didn't just pop in. I've been elected. It's been the last 5 years.
Continue, Councillor Mamidi.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Milkovich has been elected to this council for the last 5 years. He has never, ever raised this with me, being the Dandenong Ward Councillor, and tonight he's saying that it's all mayhem and our city's gone to the wherever he's considering. But honestly, we have these facilities right across our city, whether it be in Springvale, whether it be Noble Park or Dandenong. They are the heartbeat of our community, and tonight we're here to vote on the amendment. It ticks all the boxes, and I urge my fellow councillors to support this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Mamidi. Okay, so we're going to go for a vote now. For those in favour of the motion, please raise your hand. Okay. Councillor O'Reilly, Councillor Yim, Councillor Trung, Councillor Philip, Deputy Mayor Dan, and Mayor Tan, Councillor Mamidi, Councillor Lay, and Councillor Garrett. Those against, please raise your hand. Councillor Milkovich. So 8-1, item carried. Thank you. Yes, Councillor
Madam Mayor,
Mamidi.
can I move an adjournment for 5 minutes while the gallery clears?
Sure. Seconded by Councillor Garrett? Yes. All right, we're going to adjourn the meeting for 5 minutes. Thanks.
at least 2 kilometers away, not opposite to my house. You know, so because 2 weeks ago, I called the council, and then council, the lady told me that I have to come to the meeting today to raise the matter. Because it's damage to my health and damage the health of my whole family. And we become this crazy. And then I asked her, and then she said that the race course, they have the permission from the council here for 1 year. It's terrible. And then they have a permission to make noise, horrible noise, and killing people.
And what's your question mean? What's the question for the officer?
The question, yes. Because I thought that they already shut down this race course because it's not suitable. It's the location. They should build the housing, the project area, because it's a very big area. You know, it's about nearly half size of Springvale. So outside, the million people, Australian people, they need houses. They don't need car racing. So why we don't knock down this area and then build how many houses over there? 500 houses, 1,000 houses to help the people, help the community, not help the racer.
And what's your question? What you want to find out?
Yeah, I want to find out, you know, you have to make the decision and have to shut down this race course because this is terrible. It's killing people. It's fatal.
Okay. Mr. Manifakasasazwam, you want to respond to this? Thanks.
Thank you for that. So the development of the houses, it's up to the MRC. It's a privately owned building, privately owned land. It's up to them whether they wanted to develop that for the housing or not. We don't have any say in that because it's a private property. Once they decided to build, then we're happy to work with them on that. In relation to the racing, there are numerous planning permits issued on the land, which permits them to use for the different racings. And also because it's a different types of racing, they have allowed to have major motor vehicle racing events, which allow higher noise emissions are limited to a 5-weekend meetings. So we totally understand your concerns, but we are happy to work with them. But any development on that side, that's not up to the council. It's a private landowners to decide that. Thanks.
Thank you.
I know, yeah. This is a private property. So my house is a private property. Can I make noise?
Sorry, you can't debate. You can ask your question.
Yeah.
And our officer respond to you.
We're very concerned, you know, with this damage our health and our family health. So yeah, so you can't do that. You know, it's illegal.
Yes, as mentioned, it's a private. Yes, Councillor Raleigh, you want to add something?
Thanks. Thanks, Mayor, local ward councillor for Sandown Racecourse. I can assist the questioner, like either after the meeting, I can give a contact number and we can talk about the different issues that you've raised, including clarifying the noise limit and that sort of thing. So I can talk with you after the meeting, or tomorrow I can give you my contact details.
Yes, okay. Yeah, so yeah, just thank you for that. But yeah, it's horrible, you know.
Thank you, Min. Next question, Ms. Beryl.
Thank you, Mayor. We have another question concerning excessive noise to do with car racing events at Sandown Racecourse from John Kakarvis of Noble Park. Over the years, I've lodged a number of complaints about the volume of noise from the car racing, which is virtually incessant throughout the day. Alas, to no avail. I reside approximately 2 kilometres from the grounds, yet I'm unable to escape the noise, even with the doors and windows closed. The volume over the weekend, 15-16 November 2025, was horrific, reaching banshee-like pitch and levels. The only escape was turning music on at high volume to the point of being painful. Does the Council Executive plan to take any effective remedy, or is it waiting for the VRC to sell the site to developers? I have audio recordings available should they be required. Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor. Thank you for your question, John. It's a similar question to the previous one, so it's a similar answer. So as they have number of planning permits on to operate the major motor racing on that side, so they have allowed to do that. And also, we are happy to work with the MRCs to monitor the sound level. If you got evidence, and I'm sure that you have already put a complaint in, and planning compliance would investigate that. Thanks.
Thank you. Next question.
Thank you, Mayor. Our next question is from Gay Guest of Keysborough and it concerns council webinar accessibility and technical issues. Are council IT staff aware of the ongoing difficulties to access the council webinars at the moment and why is this happening? Residents have had to deal with gremlins in the works, finding it difficult to log on to the meeting to begin with, audio issues because of the microphone system and councillors not using them properly, plus the incident where there was outside interference and voices and the recording was stopped unceremoniously or the meeting unable to be viewed at all. Does the webinar system server need to be overhauled to iron out all these recording problems so we can have absolute faith that we can watch the council meeting unimpeded? Can I ask Mr Guzman, our Chief Customer and Information Officer, to respond, please?
Through you, Madam Mayor, and thank you for the question, Gay. We had one technical disruption a few months ago, and I acknowledge that, where the stream actually didn't work for a number of technical reasons. However, a few weeks back, and I think I know the time that Gay is referring to, we had to take down the recording briefly to actually edit out a screenshot that had appeared on the screen, and then we reposted the meeting without any interruptions or loss of any content. We have a monitoring mechanism within the organisation to actually ensure that our council meetings are streamed appropriately. And when they do fail, if they do, we actually are well made aware of it immediately so we can rectify the issue. However, if Gay has any further information around when the council meeting has actually failed to be broadcast, I'd be more than happy to actually receive that further information.
Thank you, Mr Guzman. Next question, Ms Vettel.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Our next question is from Asghar of Narre Warren. It concerns parking on Petrona Street, Dandenong. Can the council help with creating a 2-hour parking zone? We're having cars parked for months. What approach do we need to take as neighbours? Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor, council officers are aware of business concerns relating to unregistered and abandoned vehicles. They should be reported to council for enforcement as restrictions typically do not assist in these cases. Council officers would also happy to discuss restriction with business in this area. Any restriction would only be installed following consultation with all affected businesses and if a clear majority of responding businesses supported the change. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Thank you, Mayor. Our next question is from Ali in Dandenong and it concerns a request for 2-hour parking zone on Petrona Street to support local businesses. I have 2 factories in Petrona Street and we're annoyed by the cars that have been parked on the streets for months. Can the council consider making a 2-hour parking permit zone? This will help the businesses during work hours. Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor, as discussed in the response to the previous question, officers would be happy to discuss this matter further with the businesses.
Thank you. And next question.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a question from Thelma Wakelam of Devon Meadows and it concerns council representation on the Taylors Road Landfill Community Reference Group. Has Dandenong Council ceased to represent the ratepayers by no longer providing a councillor rep on the Community Reference Group? A councillor represents the community. These meetings are 4 times a year, the final one being a combined Hallam Road tip and Taylors Road tip bus tour in November. Although Hallam Road falls into the City of Casey location, it is bordered by Dandenong residents. Both landfills are operated by Veolia and in the case of Hallam Road has recently received a $1 million fine for breaches through the Supreme Court. Lyndhurst is the only landfill in Victoria licensed to accept all the higher category of hazardous waste, prescribed industrial waste PIW for all Victoria. For this reason, the landfill is of state significance but is situated close to where many thousands of people live and work around Dandenong South. In 2025, this facility would never be approved to operate as it cannot meet best practice guidelines for buffer zones. By not being involved at the meetings, councillors are not carrying out their responsibilities through diminished oversight of public health and wellbeing as per the Public Health and Wellbeing Act. Question, would council please explain the justification behind the decision to formally cease council representation on the Community Reference Group at Taylors Road and will council reconsider their decision? Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor, in the past, this group has been highly engaged around strategic land use. The focus of this group, the it's lifted recently more operational focus. The issues that arise tend to be around road use, signage, and other operational matters. For this reason, it has been more useful to have a senior council officer attend rather than a councillor. We are still strongly committed to keeping open channels of communication between local stakeholders and council and the operator. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, Ms. Vedral.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thelma Wakeland has asked another question about council advocacy and progress on Taylors Road landfill closure and waste management commitments. Councillor Jim Mehmeti put forward a motion at council many years ago which committed the council to the landfill's earliest possible closure. Will council please report on the progress status of the 35% prescribed industrial waste to participable waste allowable in the TIP licence over the life of the landfill? Would council also undertake to provide a report on the status of the overall post-closure contour plan design of the landfill? There's also concern the operators Veolia will be successful in applying for the last unmade cell 21 to be used as a toxic waste cell instead of general waste, whereby the 35% ratio will be impossible to maintain. State government may override the EPA and grant approval further extending the life of the landfill. Question, in what manner is Dandenong Council actively advocating for the above best outcome and earliest possible closure of the landfill and demonstrating concern for the community health and welfare for the community and workers of the region? Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor. Thank you for the question, Thelma. The Council has advocated for the earliest possible closure of the Taylors Road landfill for many years and continues to do so. This includes ongoing discussion with state government and by objecting to the planning application submitted by the operator over recent years that have sought to increase the variety of the activities occurring on the site, and as the result, extend the life of the landfill. In these objections, councils had highlighted that these proposed new activities will have the effect of the extending the life of the landfill, contrary to the position of the council. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Thank you, Mayor. We also had one last question from Thelma Wakeland. It was about council withdrawal from SECA and SECBN membership. A question on this matter was asked at a previous council meeting, and I'll refer you to the minutes of the council meeting on the 14th of April 2025. We will send a response back to Thelma. I also cite one other question was received this evening from Philip Lamaro of Dandenong. A question was received online, and this question has been addressed directly by officers and won't be read tonight. And that concludes our questions. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And do you have any questions on notice from last meeting? Thanks.
Yes, I do, Mayor, and here they are for you.
Thank you so much. Okay, now we're going to go to item 4, Officers' Reports, Part 2, 4.1, Policy and Strategy, 4.1.1, Councillor Conflict of Interest Policy. Is there a mover, please?
Happy to move.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Dan. Is there a seconder?
Yeah, Councillor O'Reilly.
Seconded by Councillor O'Reilly. Are there any questions? Yes, Councillor Garrett.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 4 questions. Do you want them all at once or separately?
Yes.
All at once. My questions are that currently we do not have access to timely governance advice internally and have not had access for 2 years. How will this policy ensure that we have timely access that we do not have to privately pay for? Secondly, how is perceived or actual independence protected when the CEO's own department is responsible for administering the register, advising councillors and reporting breaches with no external integrity advisor or independent oversight? How does this policy, why do people have to apply to the CEO to see this register? Why is it not openly published? And finally, why does the Audit and Risk Committee only note this register and not look for trends or consistencies or emerging issues when they're reviewing this register?
Thank you, Ms. Hajari.
Through you, Mayor. Councillor Gao, thank you for your question. I am trying to answer one by one, and if I missed anyone, please advise me. In regarding to the advice that you would like to receive, of course, there are the manager of the governance, the CEO, but also there are local government, Victoria and MAV. They are all the bodies that can provide advice. However, when it comes to the legal advice, none of these peoples or organizations are qualified as the lawyers for the legal advice. So, of course, each of these individuals or the organization can provide the process advice. But in terms of the legal advice, this is council responsibility, and it is in the policy. If you have any, you are entitled to get any legal advice independently, any councillors. It is your decision if you needed to have that.
Just to extend that point, at our own expense.
Through you, Mayor. Yes, this is the councillor's responsibility or the councillor's decision to get the legal advice, and it will be a cost unless the issue that you are seeking the legal advice is the council matter, and by the council resolution, its approval, the council cover the cost, which would be part of the council expenses. That is how it works at the moment. Regarding to your next question about the registry is required to a public registry. Different council have different practices. At the moment, this practice has been in place with the City of Greater Dandenong. This is the public document, but it was practiced for a while that if any individuals or the public wanted to have access to this, they had to request in written form. Of course, this is in the council discretion. If they would like to pass another resolution and make it publicly, there are the councils that already have it publicly, quarterly or annually. Council has the like all the powers to pass a resolution to make it publicly and remove this process of requesting the form. In regards to access to the ARC, of course, if council passed the resolution to make it publicly and, for example, make it quarterly, at the moment, Audit and Risk Committee received the quarter report in their meetings, and of course, it can be included in that. So this is just a process that council can decide.
Thank you. Any further questions? No? Is there any opposition? As there is no opposition, the item is carried. Okay, abstained by Councillor Garrett. Item 4.2, other. 4.2.1, Medium Grants Program 2025 Round 2. Councillor Garrett.
Through you, Mayor.
Yeah.
Councillor Kong needs to leave the chamber.
Yeah. Got a conflict of interest. Okay. You need to read it. You can read it.
Through you, Mayor, just letting the public know that Councillor Lloyd Trong has outlined that he has a conflict of interest with item 4.2.1 Medium Grants Program. It's a direct material conflict of interest as he is on the SEMVAC board. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Is there a mover? Councillor Garrett? Yes. Any seconder? Councillor Mamidi? Are there any questions? Do you have a questions? Yes, Councillor Lay.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question. I have a question is, before I tell the question, I just clarify is I am precise from the SEMVAC, so I don't work there for any role there. So that's why I want to make sure everything fair for the funding. So
yeah, I think we know that. Yeah. No conflict.
When I work there, also I support.
It's a question regarding to the grants, the medium grants. What's the question?
The rent is
It's just a question.
The question is the rent is not fair for every association there, because I see a lot of associations how they work. So is the number, the amount you provide is not fair.
Ms. Gillies?
Through you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Fung Lee, we do have an endorsed policy from Councillor on the assessment and awarding of grants to different community groups, and we do have assessment panels which include independent members on those panels to make those assessments. If there's a particular applicant that you feel hasn't been reviewed fairly, I'd welcome the opportunity for you to send me those details and I can certainly look at that, but it is a robust review process in terms of our grant allocations.
Thank you. Any further question? Councillor Garrett?
Yes, I have a question. Just regarding the climate grants, we had 4 applicants and we provided no grants. Just wanting clarification on why that happened.
Ms Gillies?
Through you, Madam Mayor. Certainly, Councillor Garrard, very happy to come back to you with more detailed information about each one of those grants, but essentially they didn't fit the criteria. I'm certainly happy to come back to you and provide more detail.
Thank you. Any other questions? No. Is there any opposition? If there's no opposition, the item is carried. Item 4.2.2, Lower Tauhig Reserve Master Plan.
Happy to move it, Mayor. Thank you.
Moved by Councillor Milkovich, seconded.
Councillor Trung to come back.
Oh, can you please call Councillor Trung to come back, please? Seconded by Councillor Garrett. Yes. Are there any questions? No questions? Is there any opposition? As there is no opposition, the item is carried. Do you want to make a statement?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to thank my fellow councillors for passing this item on the agenda. Lower Tauhig Reserve is a very important reserve serving a large number of residents of the southernmost part of Dandenong North ward, and also obviously in Dandenong North and bordering Councillor Garrard's ward as well. And it is well overdue for upgrade. I think it's been about 20 years too late, but better late than never, as they say. So look, I'm happy to say that in immediate term between 2026 to 2031, there's going to be some $680,000 spent on the facility. Obviously, due to restraints and constraints of the other major projects, there's not much that we can do in the short term. However, I think the residents will be happy to know that at least this project now is in the pipeline, obviously subject to further budget bids and improvements. But for the most part, it is, like I said, well overdue. The facilities there are really old, worn down, really at the end of its usable life. And like I said, I'm sure Councillor Garrard would have a lot of questions about it as well for her residents that really want to use the facility, but they can't to the best of its ability because, you know, it's just been left in a state of not disrepair, but unusable for certain terms, and including the fences for the crickets where the balls keep flying into neighbouring properties, etc., etc. So again, a big thank you to my fellow councillors for passing this item. Like I said, thank you on behalf of myself and Dandenong North Ward residents, and obviously Cleveland Ward residents, which equally share and use this facility. And I'm sure that it'll be a great facility when completed, whether that's in 5, 10 or 20 years' time. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4.2.3, list of registered correspondence to Mayor and Councillors. Is there a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Yim. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Mamidi. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? As there's no opposition, the item is carried. Item 4.2.4, Audit and Risk Committee, Charter Review. Is there a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Garrard. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Jim. Are there any questions, Councillor Garrett?
Thank you, Mayor. My questions are regarding the cost implications of broadening the committee from 3 to 4 auditors, including sitting fees, recruitment costs and officer support. Why did we get no financial impact statement provided to councillors before seeking approval?
Ms. Hajari.
Through you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Gall, for your question. Of course, this is the part of the we had a discussion in the CBS for any further questions. I wish I had this question earlier to provide you the information, but of course, this is for Council to endorse. The reason of bringing or proposing to have additional member is really for bringing more diverse expertise and skills to the Audit and Risk Committee. Of course, that would be additional sitting fees, but with the benefit of having the more expertise and advice for the officers and the councils in the Audit and Risk Committee, it can be really the value for money, I believe, and that was the recommendations at the result of the actions of the previous Audit and Risk Committee that has been brought to councils for any further questions last CBS. But of course, there is council decision if they want to endorse that or not. But it's really bringing the best qualities of the expertise around the table for helping the projects and the works of the council.
Thank you. Any further question?
Two more questions, and I'm happy to take them on notice. But how will we measure the impact of another independent auditor? How are we to be aware of the improvements that have made? Will having another auditor improve the reporting of this committee, both to councillors and to the public, where we are given full visibility of what the committee is doing, and also what are the emerging risks and what are some of the actions of the committee? I'm happy to take that I'm happy to take that for future response from you.
Thank you.
I'm happy, if it's okay.
Yes.
Mayor, I'm happy to provide what I can provide now. If you would like, I can definitely provide more information. That's a very good question, Councillor Garrod, and I'm so glad that you are a member of the Audit and Risk Committee, and that is really great that you can be part of, and you are part of the committee for really observing the impact and how it can be improved, definitely. As you know, we already have different mechanisms. One of them is the self-assessment ones that we had conversation last time, and we are really look at that, how is the best measures that we have actually the opportunity now with the new chair and the new members. If council proceed with that, we definitely can have really put something in place that we can review that. Audit and Risk Committee reports always come to the council. Again, there is a great opportunity that advice from yourself and the other members, including Mayor, to see that how we can improve this report, what would you like to put in a place. This is a part of the governance of the local council, very important. And of course, it is our part of the charter is that we review the charter every 2 years, and that's why we are doing that, and based on the advices, especially in the risk committee, the financial committee, it has been advised that we look at the reviewing the charter and adding a new member. Again, the council's decision on that, and very happy to have further conversation as we go, as specific yourself as a member to provide us the guidance and information how we can improve the assessment of the Audit and Risk Committee.
Thank you. Now we're going to go to next item. Is there any opposition to this item? No. If there's no opposition, the item is carried. Right, so next item is 4.2.5, Councillors' Media Policy and Proposed Councillor Social Media Guideline. Is there a mover, please?
Happy to move.
Moved by Philip Dunn, the Deputy Mayor. Is any seconder?
Sorry, I'll just
Is there a seconder for this item?
propose an amendment when the time's right.
What's your amendment, Councillor O'Reilly? We need the seconder and then the amendment. So we do the seconder first. Who's the seconder for this item? We're moving the item, seconded, and then he's proposing we need a seconder now.
Chair, I'd like to move an amended alternative motion.
So we've got a mover. We just need to get a seconder, and you can introduce your amendment. All right, so...
No, I'm happy to withdraw the move for now, just hear from Councillor O'Reilly.
Okay, so Councillor O'Reilly, move with the amendment. What's your amendment?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I think this might be supported based on previous discussion, but my amendment removes the councillor social media guidelines from the motion that's listed in item 4.25, and the new motion is that Council number 1 approves the proposed updated council and media policy per attachment 1. And number 2 notes that social media training sessions are planned every 2 years as part of the effective communication skills component of the program of councillor professional development.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Garrett. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? As there is no opposition, the amendment motion is carried. Thank you. Item 5, Notice of Motion. 5.1, Notice of Motion number 15, Protecting Dandenong Hospital Maternity and Newborn Services. Councillor Garrett. You need to move it, yeah? Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Milkovich. Are there any questions? Councillor O'Reilly.
Question to yourself as Chair, Mayor. Are you willing to note my personal explanation that separate to the deliberation on the substantive motion, myself and I believe some other councillors have not yet confirmed the detail and may not agree with the detail in the preamble paragraph 2.
Point of order, Mayor. I don't believe that that Councillor O'Reilly has a right to segregate the motion without the mover's approval.
Sorry, Mayor, that was a question to yourself, noting my personal explanation and has no impact on the motion at all.
Excuse me, I believe it's at the discretion
Thank
of the
you.
mover and seconder to accept that.
So yes, up to the mover and the seconder to accept
So
the
what
personal.
I will propose, given that this doesn't impact the motion, what I will propose is that I will follow up with facts and evidence that supports the data in paragraph 2 at the end of this session. Should that not satisfy anyone, I'm happy to remove paragraph 2 in the preamble, if that would satisfy Councillor Riley.
Councillor Riley?
Yeah, Mayor, I'm happy.
You happy with that?
I'm happy to that Councillor Garrett has confirmed that I'm not in agreement with preamble, the paragraph 2 in the preamble at this point. I may be at a later time, but at this point I believe myself and possibly other councillors have not had time to confirm the details in the paragraph 2 of the preamble. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy.
Just for some clarification and just for some order, will that now become item 4? What Councillor Garrett has moved become item number 4 in the preamble? Because that's what I'm understanding.
Yeah, I'm happy to add that as point 4, that I will provide evidence to support the data in paragraph 2. Should that not be satisfactory to any councillor, I am willing then to remove that from the motion before it is as it's published. So I'm happy to amend the motion to add a 4th point to satisfy Councillor Riley.
Okay. Councillor Riley, you happy with that? Are there any further questions on these motions? No? Is there any opposition? Can you read out your point 4 again, Councillor Garrett, so we can note it down?
So I haven't had time to write it. I'm happy to write it. But however, off the top of my head, that point 4 is that following tonight's meeting, I am happy to provide to all councillors the evidence and the data that supports paragraph 2. Should any councillor then say they are not satisfied that that data and that evidence supports what is written in the preamble in paragraph 2, I agree to remove that paragraph in the ongoing publication of the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Garrett. Got that. Thank you. So there's no opposition. The motion's amendment, addition and point, including point 4, now is carried. Yeah, the whole preamble here.
Can I seek clarification from the governance
We're saying
officer?
that we're voting on the motion itself, but you just want to add in the point for the preambles, but the actual motion is still the same.
Is the governance officer
Correct.
saying that is required? Is the governance officer, can he give his advice, is it required that we add this to the motion, or is that not required?
Michael?
Well, the council's voting on the motion, not the preamble. And so
it's not required.
It's not required.
Okay.
The issue here is if the council is not satisfied with the information provided that formed the basis of the motion, then that should go into council's consideration in voting on the motion. So the issue about paragraph 2 and its accuracy or otherwise is a matter for the councillors to consider when they consider voting on the motion. So if council is of a view to put an extra point 7 into the motion to the effect that Councillor Garrard has raised, then you're welcome to do that. But I'm conscious that, again, the council is voting on the motion and not the preamble.
So I don't think that it passes the governance test because it is post-motion. So I'm suggesting we don't add it to the motion, and I am very willing to provide that evidence and data. I'm very confident that it's correct, very willing to provide that. I have provided it previously, but as an act of goodwill, I'm happy to remove it regardless, even though that's not in the motion, if that doesn't satisfy councillors. Is that okay?
So removing point 2.
No. This is the preamble, so we're not.
Yeah, I'm talking about the preamble.
It can't, because it's time dependent after the motion is passed.
Because no one object to it. Yeah.
Can I have a final ruling from the governance person, please?
So, Madam Mayor, I don't believe you actually called the outcome of the vote. You were in the process and then there were a number of questions. So at this stage, as I understand it, there was no objection, but in that process, before you then called the outcome of the vote, there are a number of questions raised, which is where we are at the moment. So the issue here is, if the council is happy with the motion as printed in the papers, then the item goes through, and that presumes that the council is happy with the motion.
So are you preparing to amending the motion?
But it's after the fact. It's easier.
I find this very difficult that we're not getting clarity.
Because we're voting on the motion and you're trying to amending the preamble, so this is the issue here, because the motion is still the same.
I'm going to propose that we don't change the motion. If Councillor Riley wants to vote against the motion, then I'm happy for him to vote against the motion. I'm going to leave it as is. I know that evidence and data is correct. I do have a PhD in public health. If there's one thing I know, it's public health data, and I'm 100% that is confident that is correct. But if Councillor Riley wishes to vote down the whole motion because he's not sure about that, then that is up to him. I'm not going to make any changes.
Councillor Riley.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I have a PhD in making sure that all the facts are correct, particularly for in a council document. And while they may be correct, all I asked the Mayor to note as Chair of the meeting was that I had yet to confirm those facts That's all I wanted to be noted, Mayor, and it does not affect the substantive motion or the deliberation of it at all. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, so one last chance. Is there any opposition to this? No? If there is no opposition, the item is carried. Councillor Garrett.
Thank you, Mayor. I wish to thank my fellow councillors for passing this important motion tonight. I just want to give a quick summary of what is at stake here. Let's be very clear. What is at stake here is that Monash Health are gutting the maternity services to our community. That's not what they're saying, but in effect that's what's happening, and they're doing it because the most important element is our highly trained neonatal nurses, who are an essential element in any maternity services. They are the ones that will resuscitate your baby. They are the ones, when things go wrong, you want in that room right there. That's what they're taking out. And so they're saying that of the 2,500 births in Dandenong, about 700 will have to go elsewhere if they have any sign of risk, and they'll have to be shepherded out to Casey or Clayton if they have capacity. And that's very hard for a lot of our women who we know have lots of other children, and very difficult for them to do that. But those identified high risk be shipped out. But we all know, we don't know what will happen in a birth situation. I had my fourth child in Dandenong Hospital and had a fantastic experience. I wasn't identified as high risk, but I was 46 years old and I was scared. 46, I know, it's heroic. And I know I don't look a day of, no. And, but there was never a moment in that entire experience that I lacked confidence in the competency of the staff, because I knew that if something had gone wrong, the staff were there. And if anyone has been in a birth situation, you have critical moments to fix that situation. And what they're doing is they're taking away the very people that can do that. And then they're saying, oh, the midwives can do that. Now, while the midwives are highly trained in birth support and all facets of birth, they are not trained in critical care, neonatal care. That is an additional 2 years of training. These nurses are highly, highly specialised. A bit like telling a GP that, you know, on Friday you're going to be doing open heart surgery and we will give you, this is what they've said, we will give you 8 hours of training. We will give to midwives 8 hours of training, and then whatever, you can resuscitate babies. Whatever happens, it's on you. And if something happens and the baby is unwell, and if the baby survives that actual birth, then they're reliant on an ambulance to get to another hospital. And if that hospital has capacity to deal with them, good luck.
Councillor Garrett, 30 seconds left.
Reliant. Can I get an extension? Thank you. And if they can get one of the special care ambulances, and I believe there's only 2 in the state. So good luck with that. So in Dandenong, almost all women birth in public hospital. You go to Casey, a more affluent area, a quarter of them birth in public hospitals, also Clayton. So they're not making cuts to those areas, they're just making cuts to us, who have the highest need women. We have 50% of the humanitarian intake every year. We have a high number of low-income, low health literacy women who need a lot of support. The nurses and midwives, the neonates at Dandenong are specialised in giving that culturally safe care. They are experts at that. And so these nurses, the neonate nurses, want to remain in Dandenong and give that extraordinary level of care. And we want our mothers, our sisters, our women to have confidence that if they have to go to Dandenong, they're going to get the care they need and not be in a stressful situation and shipped off somewhere to maybe get care. This is not fair. It's not fair. If you're going to take resources, don't take it from us. We care about the women in our community, as shown tonight by this vote. This is outrageous that they are stripping from us the critical care nurses, which mean that many midwives might go from our hospital too, because they don't want to lose their registration.
30 seconds left.
Situations
Councillor Garrard.
where they can't cope. I just want to say, Dandenong Health, Monash, when they thought they could do this, they did not know how strong pushback is going to be from the staff, and they did not count on us, who will not stand for this. So I thank you all, and the fight just begins today.
Thank you. Councillor Mamedi.
I'd just like to say a few words on this item. Firstly, let me say thank you to Councillor Garrard, who has brought this to our attention. I was not aware of this happening. I can say here today that my wife delivered 3 beautiful babies at Dandenong Hospital in the 90s. It's a little while ago now. And we had a wonderful experience. As we all know, Dandenong is a very low socioeconomic area. People who tend to go to Dandenong Hospital don't have a lot of funds. So if these mothers have to be transported to anywhere else around Melbourne, how will the families visit them? How will, it's going to be a distraction for them. It's taking them away from their place where they're very comfortable. Everybody knows where Dandenong Hospital is. The 175,000 people that live within our municipality knows the Dandenong Hospital very well. So this to me is very concerning, that if somebody goes to Dandenong Hospital to deliver and have a baby, and unfortunately if something goes wrong, then they're going to have to move somewhere else. This is very, very concerning. As somebody who's lived in this community for 50 years, I couldn't even believe that they're actually thinking of doing this to a community that, won't be able to deal with if they have to be relocated to somewhere else in Victoria. So I thank Councillor Garrard for bringing this to our attention, and I see some nurses and midwives, I'm not sure what you call them, but thank you for what you do for our community. And I know you're here because you're passionate, and we are supporting you, and we're going to try and ask a few questions and get some answers. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Milkovich.
Thank you, Matt. It's not often that Councillor Garrard and myself agree, but this is one of those topics, and I also agree with Councillor Mamedi, and similar experiences were shared with myself and my family, where 3 of my kids were born in Dandenong Hospital in the 2000s, a little bit later. I was a late arrival on the scene. However, a wonderful experience. No problems, thank God, touch wood, as they say, but wonderful experience, wonderful staff, great facilities. Like I said, it couldn't have gone better. And to have this done by Monash Health, while I understand that we don't have the power to compel Monash Health or to tell them to do something, I think it's important that, and it's obviously important that Councillor Garrard brought this to our attention, because I think it would have gone completely unnoticed, that this is not the right move to do. Our community deserves as good as care as possible. Now, the point of contention, or rather the conversation earlier on, was whether the actual quotas quoted on Councillor Garrard's preamble or certain documents supplied by Monash Health were exactly the same or not. I think it's completely beside the point. Whether the services are being reduced by 50%, 5%, 10% or 90%, it is irrelevant. They should not be cut at all. This is a very important hospital for the residents of City of Greater Dandenong and wider. And everybody that I know of, that I've spoken to, have had a wonderful experience. Now, the birth might have not always gone according to plan, but the staff was there to support people of City of Greater Dandenong and wider. And to have Monash Health cut services in any way, shape or form, I think it's just a very, very bad move. Why this has happened, whether the state government's run out of money, which they have, or something else, it is irrelevant. But I think
30 seconds, Councillor Milkovich. 30 seconds left.
Thank you. I think residents of our municipality and wider do deserve the best possible care that we can get for our women that are giving birth. And again, thank you, Councillor Garrard, for you bringing this to our attention, and everyone else who supported this notice of motion.
Thank you. Right, we're going to go to next item. Item 6, reports from councillors, delegate members and councillors' questions. I'll start with Councillor O'Reilly, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Firstly, if we haven't done so already, could we write a letter to Joe Riccici, OAM, congratulating him on 25 years service as chairperson of Springvale Benevolent Society?
Yes, through you, Mayor. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Sure, we can.
Okay, thank you. And next thing is, went to a few events. One of them was Sigma AGM in Saigon Rex, Springvale. Was walking past to the multi-level car park, and let it be known I'm a proud user of the multi-level number 8 car park in Springvale. Walking back, the rubbish bin, this was around about, I don't know, what time did we leave? Saturday night, maybe 9:30 p.m. or something. The rubbish bin on Multicultural Place, Buckingham Avenue, had like about 5 big, Glad, black bags full of rubbish all around it, right? Now, it just seemed unusual. It seemed like the traders are just getting their rubbish and putting it next to the bin, would be what I'm surmising here, which leads me to some questions for the relevant officer, Mayor. Can we use CCTV to identify the culprits of this sort of practice? In other words, they're just, it might be traders or it might be someone else just leaving large garbage bags near the public waste bins. Can we use CCTV? Because I think the last discussion was we couldn't because of some local law or convention or something we need to do. And on the second point, on the topic of AI, which is quite topical, I'd expect that like in about 12 months we'll be able to have like an AI agent will be able to automatically detect aberrant activity automatically on CCTV, which might go from sort of rubbish dumping to traffic parking offences and so on. So I guess, you know, there was a bit of pontification about the future, but the main thing is regarding use of CCTV to identify culprits that may be dumping garbage bags next to our public rubbish bins. Now, we already have the CCTV with Springvale Activity Centre having, my understanding is, one of the best CCTV coverage areas in Victoria. So do we, to the relevant officer, do we need a change of local laws, practices or regulations to enable the identification of rubbish dumping bandits?
Thank you, Mr. Manith Vagasa Sivam. Would you like to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor. Yes, definitely we need to look at the local laws when we go through the review process, and also the we can sort of bring that up with the councillors when we go through that review next year. That would help us to look at what opportunities we got. And definitely illegal dumping in multicultural places is an issue, and it's constant, and also we do work with the traders on that matter. But yeah, we are happy to sort of work with them on the illegal dumping, but at the same time, yeah, the CCTV one and the enforcement, we need to look at that in the future.
Thank you. Any further question? No. Councillor Yim.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a question for the relevant officer, please. Earlier this week, I had a resident call me in regards to repairs and maintenance of his driveway, which he thinks has now become potentially dangerous. Could I please get clarification on if his driveway or any other resident's driveway falls under council's responsibility? Thank you.
Mr. Manith Vagasa Sivam.
Thank you for your question. So all driveways are private properties, and it's a property owner's responsibility. Council doesn't maintain or repair driveways. Council does maintain the footpath on the roads, but the driveways are the property owner's responsibility.
Thank you.
Thanks. Councillor Chong. Lloyd Chong.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I would like to ask one question, and one thing I asked the council help the president because at the shopping center, Atto shopping center, and they're close with the car park, it have the big hole. It's that the hole still there about, I think about 2 or 3 months already. but not be filled up. I don't know. I think that belong to the shopping center owner, not council, but I can't contact them. I think you can contact them to ask them to fill it up. And the second thing is that many people, some president asked me about, the thing, the bird has been died at the shopping center, and they would like to know what reason that the council, does the council know what the reason? Thank you.
Okay, so question one go to Minister Bagas.
Yes. Thank you for your question. The pothole, it is within the shopping center. It's their responsibility to do that, but we are happy to pass that on information. And also we encourage the residents to talk to the center management as well. In relation to bird death, I'll take that on notice and then I'll provide you further information.
Thank you. Any further question, Councillor? No. Deputy Mayor Dan?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I had the great pleasure this past weekend of spending some time with the good folks at RecLink at their Play It Forward event in my ward at Ross Reserve on Saturday. It was an event where members of the community could donate high quality second-hand sporting goods for residents to be able to pick up for free. In my speech, I described sport as being the great equaliser in our society. It transcends language, it transcends culture. You could drop in 10 newly arrived kids in the schoolyard, drop a soccer ball, and they'd be able to communicate with every other student because they communicate through sport. So I think events like these are incredibly important to ensure that everyone has a go. It's something that's incredibly simple and a really good way of encouraging healthy living. Not just for young people, but for families alike as well. I'd also like to thank Team Sports for all their work and all for those involved at the event over the weekend. Second thing I just wanted to touch on was the Hidden Gem Market of Music Festival, which occurred over the weekend as well. And I know Councillor Mehmeti and we've done quite a bit of work with the small businesses along Hemming Street there. As a council, we talk a lot about placemaking and urban design and centering around the people and the residents that live there. We've been able to, the organisers have been able to activate, car park space to bring a vibrant community event together. I think if you've been a resident there for a long time, Hemming Street has its challenges, but it deserved its moment in the sun and it really showed the potential that it can reach if it gets the support that it needs. And hopefully this will be the first of many. That was all for me.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Dan. Councillor Mehmeti?
Thank you, Mayor. As Councillor O'Reilly said, there was many of us that attended the SIGMA 43rd anniversary on Saturday night, I think it was. Great night, packed to the rafters, full house. Bihar normally does that. She can bring in a big crowd. SIGMA has been looking after the community, the Indo-Chinese community, for 43 years. They do a fantastic job, and we're also there to celebrate the 50 years anniversary of the Vietnamese boat people that have arrived in Australia. So we'll have to join you, Madam Mayor, and myself, and also Councillor O'Reilly and Councillor Leb presented a certificate to Bihar, and they do a great job. And it's always a pleasure to see Bihar. She's also a living treasure in our city, an OAM recipient, and was in the Victorian Australia Day Awards, I think, top 4. Unfortunately, she didn't win, but to us, she won, being nominated and being in the top 4. I think that deserves a fantastic effort. And we need more people like Bihar to contribute in our community, who does a fantastic job. I also attended with yourself the Cobra Cultural Association inauguration. It was a great night. And the president, Salam Sanghi, who is a superstar movie in the movies in Afghanistan, but also it was filmed in a film with Tom Hanks. So he's even made a Hollywood debut, who lives in our city, which is fantastic. And it was great to celebrate with the community, the Cobra Cultural Association. As Councillor Dan said, I also attended the launch of the Hidden Gem Market and the Music Festival. Like Councillor Dan said, I've been around the table for a lot longer. Hemming Street has had its certain problems over the years. Working with the state government and council, we have got millions and millions of dollars for that area. New footpaths, new seating, new plantings, new trees, new footpaths, CCTV cameras, we can go on and on. That area now looks a lot better and it's attracting a lot of customers. And Hemming Street now, I don't think there's an empty shop, not one vacant shop. So it's doing really, really well. And to activate this car park was unbelievable when I didn't know how it was going to look before, but just imagining things. So it was set up even better than what I thought, actually. So congratulations to the team that put it on. Kate and the rest of the team, too many names to mention. But if we can write them a letter and congratulate them, I know it was their first event they've ever actually organised. So it's a community group that's come together, got some funding and put on a great show for the people around Hemming Street and Greater Dandenong. So well done to them. I'll come back to Hemming Street car park later. But also with yourself, me and you received, being Deputy Mayor and Mayor, we received $300 gift vouchers, which we both accepted, but also straight away donated them to Kindness Community. We were very grateful and we visited them on Tuesday. We spoke to lots of people who attend every Tuesday and share a meal together. We had a chat with them, we heard a few of their stories. In the end, I think we were the last people to leave. So it was great to see people having a meal, but also having a chat with us. I also attended my last citizenship ceremony, which I love, and I know you're going to love. I think it's the best part of the job being a mayor, handing over a citizenship certificate over to one of our newest residents, and I had the pleasure for my last time to have 300 on the night. And on the last day of my mayorship, I also had the pleasure of opening up or turning on the lights officially at Greaves Reserve and also George Andrews Reserve. We had a lot of funding from the state government, so we appreciate the funding. I think one project was 200,000 and the other project was 250,000 from the state government. So we thank the state government for their contribution. Coming back to Hemming Street, while I was there, some of the shopkeepers approached me, and the car park where we had the festival, they want to put in some hourly parking. They suggested 2 or 3 hours from 9 to 5. Because I know that the residents can park there after hours. It doesn't bother them. But during business hours, that car park is there for the shopkeepers. And so if we can look at maybe putting some 2 or 3 hour time limits on that car park in Hemming Street will be great. I've got the nod there by Mr. Manivasagasavam, so I'm sure he'll look into that. Also, just really concerned with the questions tonight regarding the Taylors Road landfill. No councillor rep there any longer. But what's my main concern is Veolia's taking over. Only a few years ago, I read in the local newspapers they've been fined for this, they've been fined for this. Can we have a report back to council how many fines they have received from EPA? Have they received any fines from council? And a report also to look at when will the earliest closure of this landfill, because it's been affecting this community and it's the one single thing that I ran on council to get a closure of this landfill, which council did win in court to close it. And at the time, the Premier called it a state of significance and overturned the court decision. So I was successful in getting a court order to close it, but unfortunately at the time, the Premier called it a state of significance and the court order was void. So our community has been advocating for many, many years. It's become so tiring that we just sort of want to give up, but we can't give up because we know that Veolia can't be trusted and our community is not safe. There should not be any breaches of their licence or their agreement or whatever they run on, because and as one of the residents, question time, if they were to grant a permit, they would never ever get a permit in today's. So it's so close to schools, houses, and it's just really, really affecting the community. And when they see these in the newspapers that they've breached their conditions, they just don't feel safe. So if we can have something in the near future, come back to council and we can then go back and speak with our community.
Thank you. Do you want to say something, Mr. Manivasagasavam?
Yeah, happy to do that report and then we'll gather information and then provide an update to council in the near future.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Mamidi. Councillor Lay.
Thank you, Mayor. The last 2 weeks, I have 2 events to enter, to go in there. The first one is just go with you and Jim Mamidi, Sean O'Reilly, for the 6 March 43rd year anniversary. That event is so good. I love it. Beha is contribute for our community a lot. I pay attention on that organization. It's so good. The second one is I go with Mayor Sophie Tang and Lee Talamis MP for the visit of the Expo organized by Afghan Australian Business and Trade Chamber. They organized on the 16th of November. That's really good. At that day, they got 28 business to expo there. It's really good for local business to develop. Okay. And the last question is for, because this question from last year and this year I rise again, because it's every season holiday in Springvale, Christmas, New Year. So in Springvale, a multicultural place is never have the decoration is properly. Last year and this year as well. When I go there, a lot of people say why this multicultural place is decorated is so simple. It's not like the season rating. It's not like the holiday there because everyone is closed on the 24th of Christmas Day and every shopping closed on the 26th of Boxing Day. But in Springvale Central never closed. But the decorate there in the multicultural place is not good enough. Last year and this year as well. I would like council pay attention on that and come there to make the project decorate for this year better than last year. Thank you very much.
Ms. Gillies, Mr. Manifakasasvam, you want to take the others front?
No, thank you for that. So I'm happy to take that on board and then we can have a look what decorations we do. It will be too late for this year to change any decorations because it's already in the process of doing that. And also remember, we only got a limited budget for Christmas decorations. So I'm happy to consider for the next year.
Thank you. Well done. Councillor Garrett.
Thank you, Mayor. As mentioned by previous councillors, a massive congratulations to the organisers of the Hidden Gem Festival and Market for bringing such a vibrant celebration to Hemming Street. I spent the whole of Sunday afternoon there and I heard fantastic, best music I've heard for a long time. It was such an enjoyable atmosphere. A special thank you to the festival director, Jessica Robinet, and the West Alchemy Collective. Of course, we have to shout out to Peter and Kate, who just worked tirelessly in that area. Thank you all for your commitment to showcasing local talent and uplifting Dandenong West. It was brilliant to see that the musicians and those providing the food and the market stalls were all from the local community, and people were just wandering across from their houses and sitting there chilling in the beer garden there, and it was a fantastic event. So, massive congrats to all of them. I just share Councillor Mamedi's concern about Taylor's Road landfill. I know that we have been fighting this for a long time and a long time before I came on council. It's extremely disturbing to me that a councillor has been removed. I wasn't actually aware was the councillor. I was never provided with minutes. I was never provided with meeting details. I am concerned that a councillor has been withdrawn without any consultation with councillors. And I'm concerned about what that means. And I want a clear explanation about who made that decision to take a councillor off and why councillors were not consulted in that decision. And would the council consider leaving a councillor on? Because you are putting a council officer on what is the problem with also having a councillor on? We have a very different perspective. We have the perspective of the community, as opposed to the council officer who is there just to monitor the operational issues. I'm really concerned about it. Like Councillor Mehmeti, I'm very concerned that every time I pick up the paper, Viola has breached another set of breaches. I feel like they're just building that into their business case, and it's just business as usual. It's not good enough. It is impacting the health and the safety of the community. I join with Jim in asking for detailed reports on how many breaches, what have been the remedies, and why do they keep recurring, and why has their licence not been breached? I also want an end date, and I hope that our councillors will join together and push strongly for an end date. We know that the SRL will be finishing. We know that was the excuse to keep it going. There should be an end date that is aligned to the end of the SRL. So I hope that we get a stronger focus back on this. None of us want this. We should not have to take the toxic rubbish of the whole of Melbourne, and people should not have to live next door to that. So just happy to have a response to my questions.
Thank you, Ms. Vettel.
Thank you, Councillor Garrard. I just want to make it clear for a moment in regards to removal of the council representative. Councillors were consulted about it. It was part of the information that was provided as part of the annual allocation of committees, and there was repeated opportunities where we were clear that it was suggested by officers to remove a councillor rep because it had become more operational. But if the council feels differently about that, I'm sure the officers are not concerned to bring a councillor back. It's about the fact that our councillors are very busy. It's not changing our focus on the landfill in question and our concerns about the landfill in questions. And I know Mr Manavasagasavam and his team do an excellent job in regards to advocating for council in regards to this matter. And we have had ongoing issues with the operator of that facility. So certainly, I just want to clarify, I think it's incorrect to say councillors weren't informed, because I feel that you were informed. However, perhaps you did not feel that you were informed, Councillor Garrard, so I'm more than happy
I'm
to...
very willing to apologise if that was the case, and very willing to admit that I'm wrong. We were given a clean sheet of the new, and I didn't match the two, so very happy to apologise for that. But in terms of having a councillor, I would strongly urge, I'm going to put Jim Mehmeti on the spot here and say I'm happy to be the councillor on it and be restored, and Jim to be the alternate on that, and happy to do that immediately if that's all it takes to restore that.
Through you, Mayor, we're happy to bring a report to the next council meeting, but we'll take it on notice if there's any meetings in between. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it. Councillor Mirkovic.
Thank you. Just one question from me tonight, Mayor. It's in regards to the election corflutes still lingering around with our local candidate Zahid Safi, unsuccessful, and a successful one, Julian Hill, still on a number of properties throughout the municipality. Past 6 months after the election, are they running again in 2028, or can we please get those corflutes removed regardless of the party affiliation, because it is just poor practice from both candidates. Thank you.
Mr. Manavasagasavam.
Thank you for that question. The challenges we have is if those corflutes are in private properties, it's up to the private property owners to manage that. We don't dictate what they can do in that sense, but yeah, happy to have a chat to you around the locations and then see what we can do. But if it is private property, we can't do much.
Just a supplementary, could we maybe contact at least Julian Hill, he's elected and here, and ask him to maybe go through and remove them, because he would, I'm sure, have legal right to remove those things, or he would know these property owners and ask him kindly if they could remove it. Like I said, and obviously the other candidate as well, the unsuccessful one, because it's just a bit bizarre at the moment. Thank you.
Yeah, we are happy to report that to his office.
Thank you. Thanks. I also been very busy since the last council meeting. I attended so many events. On the 11th, I attended the Noah Park RSL sub-branch Remembrance Day ceremony. So it was ceremonies of always a lot of people attended. Each year, just we came together to remember and honor the brave men and women who serve and sacrifice for our freedom. So that day, we did pause and honor their courage and their dedication and life loss in pursuit of peace. On the 13th of November, I attended the opening of the Alga Art Exhibition. Was my first events as mayor. So the title of that is The Spirit of the Earth Freighted Populace, which is hosted by the Olga Association. This is their first events that's organising in Melbourne. So they got a few in Sydney, the one before, and then after that in Adelaide. So this exhibition brought together the Olga artists that lie across from the world to celebrate the resilient creativity and enduring cultural heritage of the Olga people. So pretty much I think we had two famous artists, one traveled from all the way from Norway and the other one's from Germany. So the exhibition, again, which is probably first time at Menzies Hall, so we might need to support them next year with advertising to get more people on. But it was a great event. On the 14th of November, it was my great pleasure to open the construction trade and small businesses networking exhibition hosted by the Afghan Australian Business and Trade Chamber, AABTC, with Councillor there. It was a great event. This is their first expo, so it was a great turnout. So events is more about the exhibition, testament of the local businesses, construction companies led by the refugee communities in Melbourne, in the whole Melbourne Southeast. So it's about building connection, opportunities, and stronger local economy. On the 17th, I also attended the officially launched major Walkinshaw Automotive Group headquarters, which is one of the largest annual factory is located in the Dandenong South, which is 820 Taylors Road, Dandenong South. Those around 100,000 square meters, which is huge. It's a single site integrated to a home for Walkinshaws, manufacturing, engineering, and corporate operations. So it's a huge facility. They build 53 cars a day, which is so impressive. Additionally, I also want to thank Salta for investing in our city and congratulate them on their ongoing development at the Nexus Dandenong South Industrial Estate. On the 18th, I also, it's my great honour to attend the opening of the Circle ASPAC Disability Employment Hub, which is at the corner here, located on level 4, 76 Thomas Street, Dandenong. So I just want to congratulate everyone who's been involved establishing the hub, which is on site now. They already employ at least close to 50 people living with disabilities. So in Greater Dandenong alone, we've got 7% of our residents living with disabilities, roughly around 10,000 people. So Circle present here, which is in Dandenong, will help to improve opportunities for people, many local people who are disabled, that live in the area. On the 20th, I also, it's my pleasure to attend the Unscripted Voice Against Racism, hosted by the Wellspring for Women and performed by Melbourne Playback Theatre. So I want to congratulate Wellspring for their leadership in tackling racism in the Southeast. So by creating spaces for honest conversation, we can begin to tackle one of the most pressing issues of our time, racism. So through the initiative like this event, Wellspring is helping us to move beyond words and to meaningful action. On the same day, I also attended in the afternoon, annual Talking Faith Forum in the evening, hosted by the Dandenong Library, collaboration with Great Dandenong Interfaith Network. So for this one here, the council last year before, so might need to help them with advertising as well in the future. So the theme for this year is women, faith and services, so leading with purpose, speaking to the heart of what leadership truly means. So we need to actually advertise more in the future. So thanks to the City of Great Dandenong Interfaith Network for continuing promoting peace, harmony and acceptance between people of different faiths and spiritual tradition. On the 21st, I attended the open of the Artism exhibition launched by Noel Park Community Centre, All Ability Art Project students. So this project is brought together by many different people, explore, they created connection with their own artistic side. So guided by the instructor Toshi Handa, so those artists have explored new technique, experiment with new materials and have found a new way to express themselves. So it's not just about art, it's all about inclusion. And 21st of November, my great pleasure to attend the Victorian Tamil Association, VTA School Annual School Concert for 2025. So they have 9 campus, around 1,300 students, mainly to promote and teach young children with their language, music, custom, and traditions through their performances on the night. So which is great to see so many kids there. And on that same day, I also attended the Dandenong West for the Hidden Gems Festival. Just want to congratulate the West Alchemy Collective and Jungle President for organizing this event. This is their first event, so hopefully next year we can have more. So they want to stay there, not to move any different locations. We'll probably try to help them to expand for next year as well. And I also attended the Big Summer Read, which is on the 22nd launch here in Dandenong Library. So just to let people know that starting from the 1st of December, anything that you read, you can also register, and then you can win awards as well, great prizes. Last year we've got around a huge amount, 8,931 books, which is registered. So children in Great Dandenong read more books than compared to other children in other in Victoria. So hopefully this year we can do it again, so we can win again. And lastly, I attended 2 more events. So with Councillor Mameti, with the Cobra Cultural Association opening, great to meet a lot of people there. So I just want to congratulate them and wish them all the best. Chaired by the famous actor, legendary Afghan actor, Salam Saqi. And lastly, I attended the SEMVAC 43rd anniversary. So great. Just want to congratulate their organisation for helping so many people, not just Vietnamese, but the whole community. So and congratulate to their 50 years settlement here in Australia as well. That is all from me. And now we're going to go to item 7, urgent business. As there is no urgent business, we go to the last item. Item 8, close of business. I can declare now the meeting closed at 9:04 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Thank you.